Well, today on Nova Legends podcast, I have Northside Coach Bill Pope. Coach Pope won the state championship for a second time in 2023. He's got more than 600 wins at Northside. He was a Mt Vernon graduate. Was it 76 or 77, Coach?
76.
76 and an 80 Bridgewater graduate. Coach, great to see you again. Congratulations again on state champion.
Thank you, Julian. Great to see you. Really is.
Well, we talked last time about the reason why you do this is because you really enjoy it. You love working with the kids. It's a challenge trying to stay current on the game. How much of what you do at this point is about history? Do you ever think about that? You know, guys like me and you, we'll get the state program and we'll see that Martinsville won, 5 state titles in the 80s, or we knew Husky Hall and on and on and on. Do you ever think about history and what your legacy is, and also what Northside's legacy is?
Well, it comes up in conversation. That's for sure. People will talk about it and stuff. But honestly, the day to day, you can't really think much about that. You really can't, because in the end, what matters to the guys I'm coaching right now is not all of that. I mean, they might be aware. I'm sure they're aware of some of it, not as much as I'm aware of it. But in the end, they want to be good right now. They want to be really good players. They want to have a really good team. So what matters is every day to day is just working with them each day. But, am I aware of those things and stuff? Yes. And they having a great history at Northside, our program, and it is important every day to us. So.
Yeah. Do you think that history helps you be a better coach? I watched some videos of your interviews with your players and you, and I could tell you have real affection, and vice versa for the players. Do you think the fact that you've won so much there, the gym's named after you, do you think that helps you and gives you even more credibility with the kids? Or, past a certain point, maybe you've been around too long.
That's a good point. I mean, it's a very legit question on both sides of that. I mean, it's just it's so rarely brought up with any of that. I mean, I'm sure the players are aware of those things, but in the end, I think what matters to them is right now. And for me to just, of course, I'm going to use some lessons from the past with them. I'm going to talk about guys from the past, but not to the point where it becomes that I'm living in the past, because I'm not. I want to be current right now. I want to be where the game is right now, and the game is always changing. So I think that's my biggest thing is with the players right now and stuff. But it probably a little bit of with people with both. They wonder how long, and then is what's too long or whatever. But I just think if the players are getting something out of it and they're moving forward with their game and stuff, and our team is, we'll just stay current with what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, it seems to work really well, Coach. Last year when we talked, you guys were undefeated at this point. We talked right before the NIT. Ended up losing to Cave Spring in the regional final, but you got them back in the state semifinal. Do you think? And we talked last year about your battles you had with Salem and other schools in Roanoke. Do you think that loss, as painful as it may have been when it happened, do you think it helped you in the state playoffs, and that could have been a positive development?
At the time, I think it was a really big loss. I mean, there's no other way to look at it, and I would definitely not discount it like somebody would kind of get from my answer that I was okay with it. I was definitely not okay with it, as the players would 100% tell you. And, we knew what that loss meant. One, we lost a regional championship game. It was our only loss, which was kind of down the list of things, but it was a regional championship game. And then what that meant, we had to go on the road to Spotswood. And we knew how tough that would have been, because we did it the year before, won in overtime. And then last year we went up there and we trailed double digits in the second half. And we made a late rally, won the game at literally with 2 seconds left. We scored the game-winning basket. So to say anything but that was a big loss would have been, that's not truthful. Now, do I think it might have helped as we got to the rematch with Cave Spring? That's possible, yeah, because I definitely think we were able to fine tune some things, and maybe the guys had a little better focus. I don't know though; they had great focus all year, so I don't know about that. But maybe they were fine tuned a little bit more within their own self. I didn't necessarily see it. I thought we were ready for the regional championship, but I think that loss really hurt us in our chances to. I thought it would hurt us in our chances to win the state, but we were able to survive at Spotswood somehow, and then in the rematch, maybe it did help us. I don't think it had anything once we got to the championship game. I don't think it really that was no longer a focus. So
Yeah, Coach, you wish Cave Spring was in your district. From this far away, it seems
yeah,
bizarre that they're not in your district. And I was trying to find some rhyme or reason for the districts down there, and I really can't. But it just seems like it'd be such a great. I mean, you play them home and away
yeah.
anyway. But do you think they should be in your district?
It is. You're 100% right. Oh my goodness, it is really quite unusual how all this is set up with our districts. I mean, they're one of the closest schools to us. I mean, the whole idea of a district for many, many years, decades, was that you were close and you were the same basic size school. And we meet those two requirements. But, it's been so long since they have been that, it's just like you just know it, but it still doesn't take away from the rivalry. I mean, it is a big rivalry. And, of course, with the rivalry, you got to have two teams that have a lot of wins and big wins, and then you get competitiveness out of it. So it doesn't really feel anything other than the big game. I don't think if you put district to it, it would matter, but it is kind of bizarre. And just like what you were saying is why I don't know. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, last year you ended up beating Hopewell, another perennial power. Hopewell's been competitive in basketball as long as I can remember. Sure, it was a very competitive game. Tell us a little bit about the final.
Well, the final was we knew Hopewell. We've seen them there before. Back in 2017, I'd say one of the most gut-wrenching losses in my career was one of that game in 2017, the semis. We had a 3-point lead with I think 16 seconds left. Had the ball, had a difficult inbounds play. We were down in the far corner, going full court. And they ended up getting a steal, turn around, and made a long 3-point shot to tie it, send it into overtime, and they won. And I can never get that game out of my mind. But that, of course, the guys you're coaching again, when you go to 2023, they weren't there. They don't have those feelings, but they all knew Hopewell. So that was a really interesting game because we came out and we had really not. Going into that game, it had been a few games where we'd shot well from the perimeter. And, we didn't really shoot well in either one of the state quarters or semis or the regional finals, or really a number of games, probably dating back to district play, but of just really lighting it up. But that game, and what a place to find that game. I mean, we came out, we were absolutely on fire. We could not miss from anywhere. And we built a 17-point lead in the first quarter. But they made some adjustments, and we could not keep up 80% from the threes. And next thing you know, they had a 4-point lead with 4 minutes to go. And it looked like, wow, how is this happening? But one of the things about this team we had last year, they were remarkable down the stretch. We had from January on, we had 14 games decided in the last 4 minutes, and we were 13-1. We lost the one in the regionals. That's an unreal record, and that just shows you, I mean, how clutch these guys were, and that's what happened there. We were down 4. It looked like the whole thing was falling apart on us, and the next thing you know, I think we scored like 8 or 9 straight points, and we took the lead back, and then won by 6.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what a story. Well, Coach,
Yeah.
one of your pressure players last year, great player, was Lawrence Cole,
Yes.
one of the top players in the state. What's he doing now? Was he able to get a college opportunity?
Well, not yet, but we're still hopeful.
Mhm.
He's playing kind of at a post-grad exposure team there. It's called Flight 22. He and another guy on the team named Jay Sean Anthony, both, and Jay Sean was a really good player for us too, like our top six-man probably I've ever coached. And but both of them are doing really well. And so they're last I talked, it looked like both I think will get some opportunities. But it's not been a really great setup right now for high school players. It really hasn't with the COVID. And they had to keep going through the years, and then the college guys got extra years, and then on top of it, you've added in the NIL money, and all of a sudden now you're getting guys staying much longer than many years, of this. So I think that eventually change, but right now I'm just really hopeful that he gets an opportunity. Jay Sean gets an opportunity because both of them are really good players.
Yeah, it's a shame that the teams are just are just not taking chances with great high school players and are taking transfers who are 4 years older and just playing it safe. And it's just the way it's going. Well, tell us a little bit about this year's team. I know Cy Hardy returns. He was a super soft last year. Now he's a junior. So obviously you have a great guard to build on. How are the teams different?
Well, we have two great guards to build on. Cy was our point guard last year, did a phenomenal job. He was all state, but we also have another guard that I would consider both of them as two of the top two guards in the state, period. I know there's a lot of good guards out there and stuff, but I'll take my chances with those two with anybody. But Michael Harvey, he started for me. Both have played their freshman year, their sophomore year, both started all last year. Cy has the ball a lot more. He runs the point, although Michael can run the point too, but he plays more of a shooting guard, and both of them are really good players. I think both of them averaged about, I'd have to look, but I think it was around 14 and a half. I mean, very close. This year, they both have exactly a 16.6 average, which is pretty amazing. I was looking at it today before the call. I was like, oh my goodness, they got the exact same number of points. But they're different players. Cy is a very smooth guard that kind of gets through the lane and is able to penetrate. Michael is one of the best athletes I've ever coached. I mean, he is just has some phenomenal dunks, and he's a very good shooter too. Both are very good shooters. I was looking at this year through 5 games, we through our top 8 players, only one is below the 50% mark on effective field goal shooting, which is, I'd say, pretty darn good.
Well, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Coach, unlike last year, this year you got an early loss to Carlisle out of Martinsville. They've been playing since early November, so my
Yes.
guess is they probably were a lot more game ready than you guys were. Probably no reflection on the talent between the two levels. Is that a loss you're worried about, or is that just part of the development process?
I would say it's part of the development process, but there's no loss that I can just kind of brush off. It's you lose and you win for reasons, but you're absolutely right. I think they had played they played 1 or 2 games before we were even into practices, so it's a big advantage. But they're still a really good team, so I'm not taking anything away. They have 4 really good scorers, and it was just a fantastic game. Just at the end, we tied it with a 3 and had a shot for a foul shot to go up with 2 seconds left on that 3-point play. They fouled us on the play and made the shot. Nick Crawford did, a senior, 3rd-year letterman. But then they got off a 3 at the buzzer and made it. So it was, sometimes you win those games and sometimes you don't. If you're that close in those kind of games, to think that it's just always going to go your way if you do it all right. We did a lot of things right. We came from behind, but there's definitely things we're going to learn from that game, no question about it, because we're not going to waste and just make it like it's just a loss. And they've gotten to play way more games than us and all that stuff. We're going to look at what we did wrong, what we could have done better, what I could have done better. I mean, in the end, it probably helps me as much as anything, because I definitely looked at that game and thought some things I wish I could have done again.
Yeah. Well, you open up district play tomorrow night against Franklin County. Franklin County is another team they've always had great athletes down at Franklin County for as long as I've been following the game. What do you think about the district this year? I assume Fleming's going to be tough again. They always are tough. Do you think Franklin County and Fleming are two of the teams that you'll have on your radar?
No question. Yeah, that's first of all, just applaud your knowledge of everything. I was amazed last year and again this
Thank you.
year that I mean you're following everywhere. I'm following just my area right now and just but everything you're saying is just spot on with things. So yes, they always have, just like you said, a lot of really good athletes. I think they're physical, they're strong, which is definitely something I'm well aware of. And we're not a big team. We weren't big last year, but with the starting five, we're smaller than last year. So we do bring off the bench a little bit more size than we had last year, but they're good. I mean, they've kind of been up and down so far. They have a new coach in, and I think they're probably trying to figure all that out and what he wants and versus before. But we're going to their place. I expect probably a pretty big crowd, and so I think our guys will be ready. And again, they're pretty steady and competing. These guys are. I mean, and I think all five of them. My first five this year, all five. I don't think I've ever had this in my career. Are all third-year lettermen.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was amazing because our JVs last year lost one game, so we had a lot of good JV players coming up. But even with that, the difference between that first five and those other guys, I mean, those guys have gone through. I mean, think about their first year on varsity, they get beaten the Final Four on a last-second shot at Cave, and then last year they win it. So they have a lot of game experience there. So
Yeah.
I really rely a lot on that. They know what needs to be done.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I got to run, but I wanted to ask you. You must be very proud of your old nemesis, Byington. I hope I said his name right.
Yes,
The James
yes.
Madison coach. Have you been in touch with him? And what do you think about their start?
I love it. I mean, Julian, of course, played for me, Julian Wooden. And he was the guy that when they came from behind down 5 with 3.8, he's the one that threw the baseball past the length of the floor. The guy caught it, made the three. And he was also the one that set the screen on the inbounds that led to the layup there. So Julian starts for him, his fifth-year senior. I just love it. And then Mark, what a great guy, what a great family. And what a fantastic job he's done, where he's taken him right now in the top 20 there. I just think it's unreal. It's so exciting. I can't wait to get up there and watch him.
Yeah. Well, look, Coach. Sorry, I have to run, but let's get together later on in the year, touch base before you make another one of your patented state runs.
I would love to do that there. It's so exciting. It's always such a pleasure and honor to talk to you. I mean that. You're fantastic.
Oh, I appreciate it, Coach. I'm a big fan of yours. Of course, I reached all the way down to Roanoke to get you on as much as I can. So I appreciate you doing this. Sorry about our technical problems, but we'll catch up later on in the season.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
Okay, Coach. Good luck the rest of the season.
All right. Thanks. Bye.